everyone. Let's see who is gonna join us today. Welcome. This is Stampin Sundays with Katrina. I am Katrina, and I am so glad you are coming to hang out with me. All right, I am going to quickly share this live with our groups. So everybody can find us pretty easily. But if you are here, please go ahead and say hello so I know who's hanging out with us. All right, where is my there? Just looking for our live stream here. Oop. Blowing around. Here it is. I'm going to share groups, and there's our VIP, and of course our team. All right, I think we are now officially good to go. And we can set this aside. All right. Hello. Welcome. All right. Quick housekeeping, and then we're going to get started. So first off, just want to remind everybody about Paper Pumpkin, our subscription service. A great way to get into stamping without having a whole lot of product around. It's an all-inclusive kit. We are currently in the August subscription period. You have until August 10th to subscribe. And that one is going to be timeless, understated cards with heartfelt messages of comfort and appreciation. Again, it is going to make 9 cards through each of 3 designs. You're going to get 9 coordinating envelopes. You'll also receive all of your pre-cut paper pieces, intricate pre-cut card fronts. You're going to have gray and white twine. And then, of course, the coordinating colors are going to be basic gray, Calypso Coral, gray granite, Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, and Pool Party. And the ink spot will be gray granite. So definitely worth investing in, especially, like I said, if you're a brand new stamper and you're not really sure where to get started. Paper Pumpkin is an exceptional starting space. Again, you get your ink spot, you get some stamp sets that you can continue to use beyond your kit. So as you start collecting materials, you can still be creating and crafting right along. Again, really nice. They do follow the seasons. When holidays are coming up, you get plenty ahead time. With Halloween coming, like the September kit is typically your fall Halloweenish. And of course, the September kit is going to be called Aspens of Gratitude. So that is going to have a fall theme. It does coordinate. All of the kits for the last 3 months are going to coordinate with the detailed flora dies, which are an add-on, which is something that Stampin' Up initiated probably 2 years ago, maybe, where they have the add-on dies that kind of coordinate with everything. So again, it's a great introductory to stamping if you are new. For those of you who are not so new and you have those big orders and you know what you're ordering, when your order reaches $75, you are eligible for the product of the month. And that is something you can add on for just $5. And this month it is the Begonia Bell stamp set. It is gorgeous with these beautiful, like an old-fashioned rose. And it's the distinctive style stamp. So you get all that shading, highlighting in one stamped image. You have the leaves and some really nice sentiments that go along. So again, that is the July product of the month, and that is $5 when you spend $75. Stampin' Up did just release in the beginning of the month the hot foil system. So if you have not seen, I did post an unboxing earlier this week. So if you want to go back and watch that video, I show you how the new hot foil system does work. You do get some beautiful effects with that hot foil. Love the colors. And it is a expanding product line, so definitely keep your eyes open. July, we also had a very large online exclusive drop You got some Halloween, some Christmas, some fall. So lots of fun bundles and sweets. So definitely check those out. Hey, sis. And yeah, so that's where we're at. All right, tonight we are featuring The Extraordinary Life. This one is one of those bundles that was really designed for scrapbooking, but you can definitely make cards with them. So for my scrapbookers and you want to kind of branch into making some cards, this is a great set because you can do both. And for my card makers, again, don't overlook those scrapbooking sets because they aren't just for scrapbooking. So we're going to use The Extraordinary Life, and we are going to make 3 really cute cards. We have a couple of birthday cards here. I have a happiest birthday wishes, and I also have this happy birthday. And then, of course, we have our sending you hugs. So this is kind of just I'm thinking of you kind of a card. And, oh, hey, Kay. Happy to see you join. So that's what we're making this week. So we are doing some little fun birthday and thinking of you. So we're going to start with our first happiest birthday card. So I'm going to start here with my supplies. And I have here a thick basic white card base, 8.5 by 5.5. It is scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and fold on my score line here and make sure everything lines up. And then I'm going to use my foam folder to give me a nice, crisp edge. Then I have a piece of the Golden Glow cardstock. This is cut 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to use, I see it. Did I leave it over there on my design table? I did. Bear with me. I just got to grab my little stamp. Everything. Now we have it. It's like a little honeycomb pattern. And I'm going to grab my Golden Glow stamp pad. So we're just going to get those out of the way. I'm going to open up that. And I'm just going to kind of start in the corner. I'm just going to turn. We're just kind of turning. All right. This looks good. We're just kind of doing almost like a V shape here. And that looks good. So we just kind of did like a little V. And we'll just set that over there. I'll have to go get my chamois. I left my chamois over on my other desk. I should have grabbed it while I was over there, but it's all right. All right. Next, I have a scrap of some basic white cardstock. And I'm using this notebook paper stamp. Looks like notebook paper lined. And for that, I'm going to grab my hydrangea hue. And we're just going to go ahead and ink this up. And that's pretty good. And there's our little notebook paper. Close that up. Then set that aside. I know what I did forget to put in here, but we can get that after. We need to get our chamois anyway. I have a scrap here, and I have my little butterfly stamp from this stamp set. And we're going to use our Memento Black. And just going to stamp that. And I'm going to go grab the chamois quick because we do have to clean that. We are going to be using it again. And here's our little white piece that we're going to need. All right. And the butterfly. We will need you again. Okay. And then we have our happiest birthday. We're going to get all of our stamping done. And then we'll be able to it's pretty good. There's our happiest birthday wishes. Oh, thanks, sis. All right. Next, we're going to color in our butterfly. And I'm using just 2 sets of our Stampin' Blends. I'm using the Hydrangea Hue and Pool Party. So I'm going to start with the light Hydrangea Hue and really not getting fancy with my coloring. And here. Then we can take the dark and that's what I say. Not a fancy coloring. Keeping it simple. All right. And now I've got, and I lied, I do not have Pool Party. This is Cloud Cover. So we're going to start with the light Cloud Cover. and then the dark. And then we're just going to do these little spots. There we go. So there's our butterfly colored in. And next, we're going to bring, what did I do with the dies? Here are the dies that go with this set. And I need the notebook paper. And we need our butterfly and our heart. Then I'm just going to set these over here so I don't get lost. We're going to go ahead and attach our golden glow panel to our card base so it doesn't get misplaced. So we want that. Like so. That can go aside. And it's all set. Baby boss. Plates. We have our heart. And that I'm cutting from a little scrap of Calypso Coral. Or actually, I take that back. It's not Calypso Coral. It is Crisp Cantaloupe. Next, I have our little notebook paper, and it's got these little, like you tore it out of your notebook. And just want to make sure. There we go. That looks pretty. Oops. Straight. All right, see if I can do this without knocking it around. Keep that handy, so we'll use that for another card. But there's our little notebook piece. And now we just got to cut out our butterfly. And get that all lined up. Piece of tape here. All right. Now, one final thing to do before we start piecing our card together. We've got all of our parts here, but I do have here this little heart, and do I have a little scrap here? Use this, I guess, just to protect our surface. I have this, and I have here the cantaloupe, crisp cantaloupe shimmer brush. I'm just going to squeeze a little of the barrel, and just to add some shimmer and deepen the color of our crisp cantaloupe heart, we're just going to paint that on. And excuse me, scissors just to hold that down. Very easy, but oh, it adds just that extra pop. There we go. And they do dry pretty quickly. So we're just going to set that aside and let it dry while we put the rest of our card together. Oop. That's exactly what I was afraid was going to happen. I was afraid my fan would blow it, and it certainly did. All right, so now we're going to start with our little notebook paper. I'm going to add our adhesive, and that's going to go like so. Next, our butterfly. We need dimensionals. And I'm going to use a couple. Oh, hey, Kim. Glad you could make it. We are making some really cute cards. All right, so our butterfly attaches there. Now, all of the in colors, those shimmer pens come in all 5 of the new in colors. So being we did use the hydrangea hue, you could actually add shimmer to your butterfly. I just did my heart. So now my sentiment, a couple more dimensionals. And that's gonna go right about there. And that's going on there nice and straight. All right, and then our heart, we're gonna bring that back. And again, I'm using 3 dimensionals to pop that up. Oh, hey, Sherry, glad you could make it. No worries. We're just finishing up our first card, so you're in plenty of time. So there's our little heart. And then, just to finish it off, I have our in color dots. These are the 2026 to 2028 in color dots. And I'm using the Golden Glow. And a small little hydrangea hue. And that completes our very first card. So, again, meant for scrapbooking, but makes really super cute cards. All right, so we're going to move on to our second card. This one I have a few extra elements in here. I have a little vellum circle. I have, again, some of that notebook paper cut out, but I cut this out this time from Designer Series paper. We used that little frame as a little zhuzh in there, and then we stamped 2 of the flowers, the butterfly again, and we used the heart for our sentiment, and we added a little flag here from our die set. All right, so for this one, I have a thick basic white card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So again, we're going to line up those edges. And we're just going to lay that down. I have the designer series paper I'm using tonight is the, what's it called? I forget now. Wonderful Life? No. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot the name of this paper. Hang on, I'll see if I cannot find it quickly. Beautiful Ordinary Life. That's what it's called. Beautiful Ordinary Life. And for this one, it is cut 5.5 by 4.25. So it's a full card front. We're going to go ahead and attach this to our card. This goes right to the edge. Then I have a piece of basic white scrap for stamping and die cutting. I have my vellum for die cutting my circle. I have another piece of that designer series paper to die cut our little notebook paper. I have a little scrap of the, oh my goodness, crisp cantaloupe for our little flag. And then I have here some pretty peacock for our frame. Goodness gracious. Can't even think. Okay, so we're going to start with doing our stamping. I'm going to start with flowers, and I got my little butterfly. But before I stamp them, I have, what do we have here? Crisp cantaloupe and Pool Party are my two colors. And I have some blending brushes. So I'm going to start with my Pool Party. And I'm just going to do just two very lightly colored or blended circles here of the Pool Party. They don't have to be heavy. They don't have to be large. Just some light coloring. I think that looks pretty good. We're going to close up the Pool Party. Then I have the crisp cantaloupe. And I'm going to get my other blending brush. And the same thing, just a really, it's probably a little bit darker than I needed it to be, but that's okay. We're just going to do that. That looks pretty good. Set that aside, close it up. All right. Next, I need our black ink again. Got my little flower. And I'm just going to stamp my flower right on top of that blended ink. Just like so. Outside, and now we need our butterfly. right on top of that blended ink. So there is an easy way to color your images without coloring your images. Oh, what set I'm using today? I'm using the Extraordinary Life Bundle. It's this one here. It's got the coordinating dies. Again, it is meant to be a scrapbooking kit or bundle, Stampin' die set. However, it works great for cards too. It is cute with the different elements. That's what I loved about it. All right, so next, what did I do? All right. I don't know what I did with my chamois now. It was here. Oh, right there it is. It's under here. So we have to clean that butterfly because we are not done with him yet. All right. So there's those elements. So we're going to go ahead and start doing our die cutting. So I'm going to set all of that aside. So we have all these different things to die cut. So we're going to start with our little notebook paper here. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out. So we're going to bring the baby boss up. Yes, I lose things all the time, Sherry. I've got too much stuff up here, so everything gets lost in the shuffle. I got to figure out a better setup for recording because I manage to lose stuff constantly. All right, so we have our notebook now, paper. There's that. We'll set that aside. Next, we'll die cut our little flag from our crisp cantaloupe. Oop. And there goes the die to the floor. Oh, goodness gracious. But I can see it, so it's not lost. All right. We're going to go ahead. We're going to cut out our vellum circle. And for that, I'm using my Stylish Shapes dies. I'm using the second one, counting from the outside in. So run that through. So there's our stitched circle. This can go back in. Doesn't get lost. Then we need the pretty peacock. And that we're going to cut our little frame out with. So there's our frame. So there's the frame. Hope to do a little extra work on that though to pull some of that stuff out. And then we need our butterfly again. And let's see if we can't. Let's set this aside for just a minute. Oh, this is going to get away. All right, we need tape. It's time to flip the plate. Always make sure you are flipping your plates periodically. It does help lengthen their life. Okay. There's that. And we're going to add one of our flowers to get cut. They gave us 2 banners in this particular set, 2 triangles, but only 1 flower. And I don't understand why they wouldn't give us 2 flowers. You're going to do 2 of everything else. Okay. This way. Goes. Sometimes it takes me a minute to do my shapes. You know, like you learned in kindergarten. Okay, there we go. I think we're good. I think we have enough. All right. That ain't gonna work. That far enough down. There we go. Otherwise, the baby boss does not like when the paper is too close to the edge. There we go. There's our butterfly. And we have 1. All right, so we take that. And then we need to move our flower again. Looks good. There we are. Oh, hi, Rosemary. Glad you could join us. All right. And now we have our second flower. So now all we have left to do is die cut our heart, which I do die cut the heart before I put the sentiment in. So we're going to get this all the way. Heart. Bring back the baby boss and run that through. All right. So now Put all this aside. We can bring all of our parts together. So now, before we put it together, let's go ahead and stamp our sending you hugs. Now, the sending you hugs sentiment, this one comes from our scalloped. No, this one actually comes from, where did I get this one? Where did this one come from? It came from the Phrases and Frames. So it is this one here from Phrases and Frames. And the happiest birthday wishes came from this one as well. I wanted to make sure I told you where the sentiments came from, because I did not use the sentiments in this particular set. But I love all these elements. All right. Take this off. Okay, now we can actually put our card together. So we're going to start with our stitch circle. And I'm only going to put a little bit of adhesive down here towards the one bottom area here that you're not going to see when it's covered by the paper. I'm going to pop all these little extra pieces out of our frame here and get rid of them. You have it? Oh, you're playing with the foil system. That's awesome. I love the foil system. I think it is so cool. It brings your cards to a whole new level. Okay. There we go. And all right. I guess that's good. And then what I'm going to do is turn that upside down. I got a little bit of liquid glue here. On these little corners. And like so. Yeah, you do have to get used to it, Rosemary, for sure. But if you follow the printed directions, you should have no issues. But it does take a little getting used to. All right, so now we're going to take our little notebook cutout designer series paper here. We're just going to add a little adhesive onto that. And this is now going to just kind of on an angle here. We'll tilt. We're going to add that. And then we're going to take our little, actually, I'm going to use a glue dot. Well, before I do that, let me, just using my Calypso or my crisp cantaloupe blending brush, and I'm just adding a little flick of color around my heart, like so. And you don't have to even get any more ink on that. That was all left over from doing our butterfly. So that looks good. So now I'm going to take a little glue dot on the back of my crisp cantaloupe little banner piece here. And right on the back of my heart, like so. Now, dimensionals. One more. And that is going to put our sentiment. And then we got our butterfly. Add a couple of dimensionals to that. The butterfly is going to fly off there. And then each of our little flowers gets a dimensional. And they come over here in our frame. Like so. And then those in color dots. And that completes card 2. Oh, Rosemary, you're going to be a pro in no time. I guarantee it. Definitely, if you have two-tone cardstock, that's probably your easiest to foil. So if you want to just get, sure of yourself using the two-tone and then work your way up to other materials. All right, thank you, ladies. So that's our second card. So that's our sending you hugs. Now we have another happy birthday. This one we're using a pool party card base. Again, 8.5 by 5.5, 4.25. And I'm going to show you my boo-boo. I shouldn't, because you can't tell that I made a big mistake on my sample card. But I'll just let you know just how crazy things can get around here. Now, I love this card. It came out great. However, notice the fatal flaw. It opens backwards. When I put everything together, it was supposed to be this way, but I stamped it this way. So it's opening the wrong way. I can fix this. I'll just cut it off and I will attach it to a new card base because it's pretty. I don't want to waste it. But yeah. So, yes, I do make fatal flaws just like everybody else. All right. Using the same Designer Series paper pack, I have another piece that is 5.25 by 4.5, or 5.5 by 4.25. Wow, I cannot even talk now. So we're just going to go ahead and add our adhesive and add this to our card base. So again, everything lines up because this is a full card front. No borders. Then I have a piece of designer series paper. It's the same paper, only the flip side. And this is cut 2 3/4 wide and just long enough that it's going to be able to go diagonal across our card front. We will cut off what we need to. And then I have a piece of basic white that is 2.5 inches wide. And again, length really doesn't matter as long as it can, again, go over the top of our card. Now, I find to do this part, the easiest is to just actually do your attachment, attach it to the cards, trim away, and then do our stamping so that way things align correctly. So I'm just going to go ahead and add adhesive to my basic white piece here. I'm totally breaking all the rules as far as stamp before you attach anything to your card, but in this case, I did find it just worked easier to do this before I stamp because it is at an angle. And sometimes it's very difficult, to get things lined up right when you're doing things at an angle. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put this on here like so. All right. Now you flip it over, take your snips, put it away. And I'm just keeping my snips right up against the card base. Now I want to make sure, like that, we want to make sure we flip that card over so it's facing the correct location. And now bringing back, I want Pretty Peacock is my ink color. Well, thanks, sis. Lord knows I make some interesting mistakes. All right, so I have my little butterfly. And I want to stamp my bottom butterfly first. So there's number 1. And then I'm going to take my happy birthday and I'm stamping that also in Pretty Peacock. So see why I wanted to attach this first, so I can make sure, being everything's at an angle, I wanted to make sure everything else, my stamping, is still straight. And it's hard to do that if I didn't already have it. So there's our stamping is complete. And even though everything's attached, it did work out well. All right, so now I need my chamois, clean all this stuff off. And that happy birthday sentiment, that came from the Scalloped Blooms stamp set. Okay, now, again, told you these are really simple cards. We're not doing anything difficult or complicated. I'm going to start with my Pretty Peacock. And I have, actually, no. I have my pool party. That's what I used. And we're just going to come in on this butterfly and just lightly swirl on a little color. Close that up. Then I have the Daffodil Delight. And again, just a little swirl of color. And then Crisp Cantaloupe. And then this one, instead of using the dots, dots, I used the in color butterflies. Where? So we have and a little one. And there is our final card. Well, thank you, Miss Kim. No worries. I hope you have a wonderful dinner. Thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. Glad to know I'm not alone. All right, ladies, we'll do a real quick recap. So we have our happy birthday. We have our sending you hugs. And then we have our happiest birthday wishes. So again, quick and simple. Thinking outside the box with our stamp sets. Again, if you see something you like, just because it says it's primarily for scrapping doesn't mean you cannot use it. So when you're stuck, go for your sketches. I used a sketch for this card actually, and what's funny is the sketch really didn't really look like this at all, but it gave me just enough of a idea that I was able to leap off it to come up with this card. So definitely use those sketches. Speaking of sketches, my friend Cindy and I do have the bi-weekly sketches. We just recorded our third sketch, which I'll be posting here this week. I just want to say thank you to Miss Betty. I know she isn't here tonight, but she usually does catch our replays. She is the winner again. I'll be sending her some happy mail. She's getting the ombre matte decorative dots for participating. Everybody who participates in our sketch challenge, on her page and on my page, we each do our own drawings. And for everyone who participates, they do get into the drawing for the prize. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that, and I'd love to have you participate. Share your creations. Get crafty. Pull out your stuff. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. God willing, I'll be back next week with some more fun stamping. As a matter of fact, next week will be the first class of August, so that means it will be a free with purchase class. So keep your eyes out for that one. That'll be a fun one. Again, God willing, I will be back with that. And yeah, so have a fabulous rest of your evening and an even better week ahead. Bye for now.